chatting to Phil Weisberg. He is the head of foreign exchange for Thomson Reuters. It's quite a significant role. Phil, thanks so much for being with me today.
My pleasure.
So let's have a chat about Thomson Reuters' role. I mean, most people know Thomson Reuters as the FX portal. Certainly there's been a lot of development. I know with FXall there's been that partnership, very exciting going forward. But if we look at Africa as a continent, let's talk about what Thomson Reuters has done in Africa and where you see the opportunities in order to create a level playing field so that we can play this game together on a global format.
Perfect. So we've been in Africa for many years, and most people in Africa would be familiar with the Thomson Reuters dealing platform, which was effectively the first social network way before Facebook and all of those modern tools. And it really allows the community to converse about the foreign exchange market in a very reliable and seamless way. And one of the first challenges Thomson Reuters tackled in Africa was really how do you put together a reliable telecommunications network that worked across the continent as opposed to just being in one country.
Yeah.
Also, what dealing allowed Thomson Reuters to do was link up the African continent with the other continents in the world.
Yeah.
So as people became familiar with the commonly used trading protocols in the foreign exchange market, they could easily converse with London, the United States, Asia. Ever more important as there's an increasing amount of trade between Africa and the rest of the world. Now, more recently, we've been doing some more interesting developments. There's a real need, I think, in Africa for the central banks to gain a better understanding of the trade flows so that they could manage their currency regimes more efficiently. It's particularly challenging.
And especially when there's no depth of data.
That's exactly right. So what we've been able to do is parse the conversations that people were having over the social network, and with the permission of local market participants, give that data to the central bank so that they could see actually what is being traded. Now, when you have very highly developed markets in South Africa, we've installed a central limit order book matching that's been around for years. And as the various other countries in the region reach higher stages of development, we look forward to introducing those types of products more throughout the continent of Africa.
And you know, the thing is for me is, and you hit the nail on the head, and I think that that's something that we need to be aware of, especially when we're barraged with all these regulatory implications. We still want to play with our counterpart in the US. We want to play with our counterpart in the UK and the Eurozone. But we have a common platform, and the common platform services both those highly regulated developed markets as well as the underdeveloped markets. So those that are trading in Africa have CLS, have matching, have settlement. That all goes through the Thomson Reuters trading platform when you trade FX with a counterpart. If you're a counterpart that is plugged into CLS, you know that you're covered and you're deemed to be a relative partner that is credible. So talk to me about going forward. I know it's not just foreign exchange. They're also looking at, because I mean the new development on ICON talks to fixed income. So it's incorporating all those treasury type functions. And how do you, are you excited about this for the African continent?
Yeah, so Africa is a very interesting story for us as a company. We're participating not just in the foreign exchange market, but also in some of the underlying fixed income markets, helping countries raise capital. We're also working more broadly with government agencies to make sure that all the people who are transacting are of proper quality, that banks are able to know who those customers are.
And then interestingly enough, you're also helping with benchmarking.
Yeah, so that's right. So Thomson Reuters recently assumed a number of the currency benchmarks for Africa, and that's largely because we have good access to transactional information that's happening. One of the most important things, I think, for people to understand on the continent of Africa is it's a very interesting place for international investors.
Yes.
And those international investors expect to execute in markets that operate in the same standards that they're used to.
Exactly.
So while the regulatory regimes within Africa may be different, if you expect to attract capital from Europe or the United States, some of the processes that you need to be in place are those that are going to comply with both Dodd-Frank and EMIR. Recently, the FSB has issued papers regarding how companies are to handle benchmark transactions. And I think it's important that a lot of those frontier investors are able to ensure that their currency trades that they need to enter and exit these markets are handled in the more appropriate modern mechanisms.
And that's exciting for me. So I'd like to really, really thank you. And I think that that's one of the most amazing things that's come out of this Thomson Reuters Trading Africa is the fact that you're on the continent, you create that continuity. It's a conduit that both the global developed market knows and the African market knows who's a frontier market, as well as the fact that the standardization and the quality and ethics involved in creating that portal is something that is globally understood. And for me, that's very exciting because it is in place. It's about partnering with people that have the right ethical background and have the understanding and the experience in those global markets. So I'd like to thank you very much, Phil, and I look forward to seeing Thomson Reuters, FXall growing in Africa. And I'm so loved working with the team.